I think we've got a decent quorum here. So let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I think this is the first edition of Opeth Mosh Pit. Uh, there's some history behind the name, right? So heavy metal fans will relate as to how we came up with the name for the event. Ideally, just intended as sort of a town hall for the community and everyone to come together and get to know more about Opeth, get to know more about the progress that we're making, uh, for us to elicit feedback from from the community, and also to share more ideas as to what they would like to see going forward, right? With that being said, I think let's just get started. Today we've got a special guest with us as well from the Open team. So for people who don't know, Opeth currently is being developed on top of the Open protocol, which is live on Ethereum, and they've just made quite a lot of improvements in their protocol in their V2, and with partially collateralized options as well. More on that to come later, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I think just to set the context for the call, we will be taking you through the whole journey for Opeth, how it came about, how we're building it, as in where we stand right now with respect to progress that has already been made, what is going to come in the future. And obviously, we'll hear more from Wade with respect to what's next for Open and what's next for our collaboration with Open in powering Opeth, right? So that being said, I think I've got Arpit here as well. So probably we'll just do a little bit of introductions as well before we start off. So this is Siddharth. I'm hosting this Spaces, co-founder at DeFi Dollar and Opeth. We'll take you through this journey of the event today. Arpit, over to you.
Hey folks, super excited to be here. So I am also building DeFi Dollar with Siddharth, and then Opeth is another project that is being built as part of DeFi Dollar, right? So DeFi Dollar is basically, we see it as a multi-protocol DeFi labs, right? And there are certain products that we want to build, and Opeth is the third one amongst the series that we want to build, right? And yeah, that's me.
Wade, do you want to jump in quickly and tell people more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Wade. I lead marketing and community at Open. I joined Open about 7 months ago. Prior to Open, started my career in traditional finance as an analyst at Merrill Lynch, and then worked abroad in Latin America for about 3.5 years as a startup consultant and a growth consultant. Before jumping over to doing more sort of digital marketing and community growth. But super excited about what Opeth has built on top of Open. I know options can sometimes be intimidating, but at Open, we're really focused on making it as easy as possible to build cool products like Opeth, and then as user friendly as possible. So yeah, super excited to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks for that, Wade. So, guys, we've got someone who's made the transition from CFI into DeFi, right? So, if you have any specific questions around that, I think we can definitely take them later on. But just to get started, right, we'll give a little bit more context around the relationship between DeFi Dollar and Opeth, right? So, DeFi Dollar, I think if you guys are aware, the first product that we set out to build was a stablecoin index, right? And how Opeth came into being is a very cool story, as in we were hacking together more ways to get adoption towards DUSD, right, which is the stablecoin index. And so, as it happened, we were brainstorming around options and thinking how to actually get more liquidity for stablecoins via options, right? So that is how that is how the idea of Opeth came into being, right? So just to very quickly define Opeth, Opeth is very simply a synthetic instrument which is backed by options, right? Essentially, we're just fusing the option with the underlying asset, which you can probably consider ETH, right? So we have ETH plus, let's say, a put option, which is combined together to give you Opeth, right? Now, this asset now has special properties. which we'll dive into later. But yeah, that is how. So Opeth at this moment is a portfolio project for DeFi Dollar, right? Like DeFi Dollar, we've got two major products at this moment, which is the stablecoin index DUSD and also the Bitcoin index that we're developing with Badger DAO called IBBTC, right? Opeth came into being just as a experiment at first to get more and more volume to unlock the utility for DUSD, right? So that is how the relationship is. A lot of people keep asking us how is it functioning, or how are you planning to take this forward. So it's basically an experiment right now, and we just want to ensure that we've got adequate product market fit, and there is enough interest amongst the users to come and let's say experiment with upcoming decentralized, let's say, stack of options, right? So that is where we are. And yeah, just to highlight some of these use cases for people who are new, the major use case that we are envisioning at this moment for Opeth is that Opeth will act as smart collateral, right? When we say smart collateral, it's basically deriving that property from the underlying option, right? For example, at this moment, we've got ETH at what, around 2300. We've got a put option that we get from Open, let's say around $2,000 with a strike price of 2000. So essentially, if you purchase Opeth, or if you mint Opeth using that strike price and with your underlying 1 ETH, you will have a protected asset, which cannot go down, which in terms of its value cannot go down to zero, right? ETH can probably crash to zero, but with respect to having the protection that is being offered by the option, your total assets will stay protected at $2,000, right? So if you get this premise, I think it makes for a very powerful use case, right? Because currently a lot of people who are giving collateralized loans, a lot of these protocols are prone to liquidations and heavy amounts of collateralization, right? This is something that we avert by using Opeth as collateral, because when you have a defined lower bound, you can very much increase the capital efficiency, right? Because there is no risk of getting liquidated. If your strike price doesn't get hit, you will not exercise it, right? And if it gets hit, you will come and redeem your underlying option, right? And make a small profit. So it's basically taking away that added complexity from the protocol or from the users, and just trying to simplify by making a very simple synthetic asset called Opeth, right?
Yeah, thanks for that. So, like, just to throw some more light, right? I mean, when we were building the USD, which is the stable coin, we thought that, okay, like, if you want to compete against DAI, we need to do something better, right? So, but with DAI, when you put ETH, let's say ETH is at $2,000, you get a loan of something like $1,500, right? So it's not super capital efficient. And then we wanted DUSD to be backed by smart collateral, not just collateral, like not just dumb collateral. So then we thought if you could, and around that time, Open was becoming very popular and on-chain options were becoming a thing. So then we just got this wild idea: what if we fuse put option with the underlying asset, right? And for some folks who might be uninitiated about options, so if I have a put option, it's basically my right to sell an asset at the strike price. Okay, so let's say the strike price is $1,800 and the ETH is at $2,000. And if ETH drops below $1,800, I exercise my right to sell my ETH at $1,800, right? Hence making a profit. So then if you think about it, when you fuse a put option and the underlying asset, which can be ETH, WBTC, Sushi, or whatever, right? You basically get a lower bound on the dollar value of this synthetic asset. So I have one ETH and I have the right to sell it at $1,800, whatever the price might be, right? So these two things combined, when tokenized, they have a lower bound of $1,800. So we thought, why not back the USD with this OPETH token, right? And OPETH stands for O for open, P for puts, and ETH for ETH. So that's it. That is how it came into being. And yes, like we are progressive death metal fans. So that. But then, yeah. So our idea was to improve capital efficiency when you're minting stable coins, right? When you put a $2,000 ETH, either you can go to DAI and get $1,500, or you could spend a little amount to buy that option and you could get $1,800 on your ETH, right? If you have that risk appetite. This is how it started. And for me, I see two use cases to it. Like one is more retail focused. So once you have this OPETH token, which has the lower bound at $1,800 or whatever the strike is, you can basically see it as a protected ETH, right? A new user comes in, they want some cryptocurrency, but they do not want the risk that comes with it. Like they want it to be limited, but then they still want the upside, right? So maybe buying a protected ETH makes sense for them. So the pitch is that, hey, get this ETH. If it drops below $1,800, you still have $1,800. But if it goes to $10,000, which it will, then you have $10,000. That is the pitch. And I think for more institutional or degen kind of audience, the pitch is that what if you could actually put OPETH in a lending protocol as collateral and get $1,800, right? And this lending protocol is super secure because even if ETH flash crashes, we don't have to worry about liquidations simply because we can exercise the right to sell the ETH at $1,800 sometime later as well. Right? So there's no rush to liquidate, and there cannot be a protocol deficit, which happened with MakerDAO on March 12th last year. So yeah, these are the ideas. So we're not integrating OPETH with DUSD right now. As Siddharth mentioned, we are waiting for some product market fit, see what users like, right? So we are kind of building it as a separate product right now. And yeah, interestingly, we are launching a protected ETH, a long-term protected ETH, right, for December 31 with Open. And the strike price is probably going to be $1,280, right? So imagine owning the ETH, which is protected at $1,280 until December 31st, right? You don't have to worry about anything else. And 1280 because we think that not many people think that ETH will go to $1,280, and that's why the premium for the option might be quite low, right? So the users would be paying quite low premium to actually get that protection. We are launching that very soon with Open. So how we're doing it is, in terms of technical terms, is we are actually going to spin up a Uniswap V3 pool in a tight range, right? And you can exchange your ETH for OPETH, right? So if you put in 1.1 ETH, you might get one OPETH. So 0.1 ETH becomes the cost of your protection. Yeah, so super excited about that, and that is coming really soon.
Just to rehash that, guys. So it's not that you need to be a degen. I think there are enough of you which hold ETH in your portfolios right now. So this is something that you can try out immediately, right? And even with a small amount, and take advantage of gas prices being low on Ethereum for the moment. So what is live right now is the ability to mint OPETH. Okay, so we're past the first stage where we've done the integration with Open. Now it's very easy to just go and mint OPETH. Now the second stage, which actually involves using OPETH as a form of collateral and taking loans on that, that is something that is in progress. I'll just drop a hint. We're doing something with the Rari guys to kind of ensure that we can use OPETH as collateral to borrow capital and stable coins from their protocol. But yeah, that is something that is happening. And basically, this is where we would probably ask for your opinions, right? And you can share that when we open the floor to everyone as to what would you guys like to see with respect to an asset like this, right? And it goes out to both users and builders alike, right? Because we foresee OPETH to not just be a asset or simple ERC20, right? It's going to be a building block for people who want to build, let's say, smart loans or anything with that respect, right? As they can just use it as a form of, let's say, building block or Lego for open finance, right? It just there are a lot of applications that open up, or a lot of use cases that will open up when you have a form of collateral where you know there is a lower bound, right? So that is the power of OPETH, and that is why we are very excited to kind of build this out, right? And yeah, I think just to reaffirm that DeFi dollar obviously is the same team is building it, but it might end up spinning out as a whole different product, right? Like, too early to say. It's just an experiment as of now. right? So I think with that, we should definitely shed some light on why we chose to build with Open, right? Arpit, I'm sure you want to take this one, right? Like there are so many different protocols. Building options is like the next hottest thing, and there are a lot of options protocols coming to the market. But there are reasons why we went ahead and we're working with the Open team, right? I think once we do this, then we can pass on the baton to Wade, and he can talk more about what Open is doing at this moment, and what are the consequences of the potential updates that they've just shipped, and which we're also very excited about.
Yeah, I think one reason that we are building on Open is the fact that Aparna replied back to me in an hour, within an hour, when I pitched her the idea. Yeah, so that was super interesting. I think, yeah, Open team is super talented, and I really like the folks there, and they are really building options in terms of, like the partially collateralized options are super interesting. So once you make all of these options, selling options, capital efficient, I think a lot of the capital is going to flow in this market. And we are trying to build a couple applications on top of it. So then we need a strong base layer. And we think Open Team is like well equipped in terms of their knowledge and their technical expertise and their community expertise to like build the base layer that we need for our product, right? So we want to basically build applications on top of Open. So what I mean to say is like people buy options to hedge their portfolios or just to like take a bet on the directional movement of the asset. But we actually want to build these applications where people can put the put options to use, right? Take loans against them. So yeah, I think and Open Team has been super helpful. We wouldn't have been able to do this without them.
Yeah, and I'd kind of like to jump in there. I think one of the things that sets Open apart is that we really do want to be. I mean, we're protocol first, so we want to enable as many products or as many integrations as possible to be built on top of Open. And a lot of emphasis from the engineering side is placed on equipping really smart teams like DeFi Dollar with the documentation they need, the flexibility they need to build amazing products like Opeth, or like launch experiments and see if they get product market fit. And if they don't, cool, let's figure out what the issues were and try and like build something better. And so one of the like other main reasons I think Open is a great protocol to build upon is that like our research team is like is very informed about like traditional options markets, and like everyone's pretty crypto native. So some of the conversations that are going on in the DeFi Dollar Open chat are just like fascinating, and everyone on the Open team genuinely loves how flexible options can be, and we want to bring more options to DeFi, because like if you make DeFi more capital efficient, you can build cooler Lego blocks. And so that's really sort of like one of our main focuses, is just enabling smart teams like DeFi Dollar to experiment with cool options products, and then figure out how we can to blow these up to be some of the biggest protocols and building blocks that exist within DeFi.
Yeah, thanks, Wade. So that, or do you think we should like open up the mic to like the audience here, see if they have any questions?
For sure, for sure. I think I'm going to do that. And I have a directed question at Wade here, right? Like, because he's not covered that. And this is something that we're actually very excited, right? So, Wade, I think if you could shed a little bit more light on the partial collateralization bit, right? And I would just like to explain it to everyone why that is really important. So, we're just looking at a lot of use cases that options can enable, right? And one of that is probably offering protection to DAO treasuries, right? For example, let's say the Uniswaps or the Aave of the DAO world, right? And for that, what we need is, let's say, if someone needs to write these options, it's very capital it's draining on their capital, right? Because these are not very liquid markets, and with the outset of let's say partially collateralized options coming in, I think that will definitely make it a little bit more efficient in terms of writing these options, right? So if you could just cover, Wade, how the rollout for the partially collateralized options is going to happen, and what are the other use cases that you're seeing getting built via that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like to give some context, like before last week, the main issue with, or one of the main issues with options in DeFi were that if you were selling options, you had to fully collateralize your position. When you compare that with CeFi, an options minter only needs to post a fraction of collateral to mint that option, making CeFi way more capital efficient. And why is this like, why was this a huge problem? If you're selling an option that has an expiration date in December, you had to lock up like 100% of that collateral to secure that position. And everybody here knows how quickly DeFi changes. There's a cost to locking up that capital. And so the research team started trying to figure out ways that we could bring this to DeFi a long time ago. And the goal was just to allow users to mint, which means like to mint and sell options with just a fraction of that collateral. And I won't go into sort of the margining system that the team came up with. We have a Medium post about it. But in short, with the upgrade that launched last week, users can now sell options with less than the max loss of that options contract. So instead of using 1 ETH to sell one call option, right now you can use 1 ETH to sell 1.5, 2, and even some cases 3 call options. And why this is helpful for OPETH, when users are selling put options or market makers are selling put options, they have to use less than the strike price in USDC to sell those positions. So we're hoping that this brings way more put options to Open, which then you can use with OPETH, and longer dated put options. So when you're buying a put option, you can go as far out as December, and hopefully we get a few options that have more than a year expiry. But this upgrade allows like users to be more flexible with their capital and market makers to bring more of their capital into DeFi for these options because they have to lock up less collateral to sell those positions. So if anybody has any questions about partial collateralization, I'm happy to go into those a little later. We also have a few tutorials on like how this actually works, but I think the overarching win for DeFi in this space is that it's going to unlock, or it's going to make DeFi a lot more capital efficient. It's going to allow more market makers to come into the space, which is going to bring more strikes and more expiries with DeFi options. And then it's just going to allow way more flexibility for products to be built using options.
Yep, I think that's really exciting. And just kind of, we're at a precipice of a lot of activity happening in the whole options ecosystem, right? And I'm pretty sure more people are going to iterate on top of this, and a lot of other protocols like us, probably Ribbon, are going to incorporate this, right? And whatever volumes you're seeing in the on-chain options market, that is just going to boom, right? That being said, guys, any questions if you have for us related to OPETH, related to options in general, or probably even related to Wade's experience in CeFi and transitioning to DeFi, right? Just raise your hands and I'll make you a speaker, and you guys can just shoot your questions to us.
Yeah, just feel free to come up and then just say anything. Doesn't have to be a question.
Yeah. Let's make it a real mosh pit, guys. Now the whole let's say thought out part is done. We would like to hear your thoughts, right? It doesn't need to be a question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Prashant here might know a thing or two about mosh pits. So if you want to come up, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I think Vishu is just come up, right? Vishu, you have a question or you want to share something? Please go ahead.
Like, what kind of products are you thinking that you will be, you will be built upon your platform as such? Like, I know that it's you are completely into improving the DeFi platform, like you are a Lego part of it. Like, what exactly are you trying to envisage? I mean, what's your vision will be like? Of course, you have said that there will be things like smart lending and all. Kindly shed some more light on it, like.
Yeah, for example, like one application that I was thinking was like a vault where you put your protected ETH, right? And then that the vault uses that protected ETH to borrow from the Rari pool. And then once they have USDC, which is borrowed, they put it in Yearn or some other yield farming strategy, and then they earn for you, like the strategy earns for you, and they help you get back your premium that you paid for the option, right? So if it's possible to make such a vault, I think it'll be very interesting, right? Because one user gets the protection for their ETH, right? Second, they don't even have to pay anything because the vault beat the premium. So this is one of the first applications that we'd like to see, or like even build it ourselves.
Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as the APY is higher than what the user paid for the premium, right, for the put option, then there's no reason to not ape into this vault.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Prashant, Earth, you want to come up, speak to us online?
Anyone from the audience, guys, if you have any questions for us, it can be related to Open, DeFi Dollar, or even anything related to options as well.
Or otherwise, Manthan can just come up and share his experience building the front end for Opeth, because yeah, he had quite a hard time integrating the 0x order books.
Manthan, you just need to raise your hand.
If I may, can I ask one more question? Like, one thing that's always, yeah. Can I?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Vishu, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. One thing that always interests me, like whenever you talk, we are actually building open ETH, right? The primary concept that we are building this blockchain system is basically due to the 2008 financial collapse. So once we are starting to put these options and more financial components, like the other things, like how will we, is there a doomsday or something like that where, have you thought like that or something? I don't think like how are we trying to we all with this system being built more and more complex, like are there any ways to see that those kind of
So, Vishu, that's a great question, right? So now let us take a step back, right? The whole financial crisis happened because people could not understand as to the collateralized debt obligations, right, or the financial instrument that was being traded at that point. No one knew the composition of it. Okay, so people were basically selling subprime mortgages uh, at a very crazy rate, and people, let's say these hedge funds and the banks were just packaging it and kind of selling it to anyone who would buy it, right? I think probably if Wade was here, he could have given us a much deeper perspective. But essentially, why it happened, if you want to point out the root cause, that was because of that no one knew what was being sold, right? And that is something that essentially is getting solved by DeFi, right? Or on chain or open finance, because everyone knows, right? For example, if you're taking a loan right now from Aave, people know that, okay, this guy has deposited X amount of capital, and that's why he can take probably 0.5 or 0.6x worth of, let's say, assets as a loan, right? So essentially, when everything is on chain and everything is open, we've got amazing community in Ethereum and across the blockchain ecosystem, right? that actually takes the time to deep dive and check whether things are working fine, right? And that goes on to say that is the responsibility sometimes of the teams as well, right? There's a brilliant article called Superfluid Collateral, right? It was published, and it kind of blew everyone's mind when people thought, okay, if I deposit my collateral into one protocol, then I can use that LP token and deposit it as a receipt into another protocol and take out a loan, right? Which is kind of unheard of, right? It's very difficult to imagine that happening in traditional finance, right? So just to give you a little bit, just to keep it short, right? I think it's about the open nature of these protocols, and although there is certain degree of risk that comes in with composability, right? For example, let's take the example of DeFi Dollar, right? DeFi Dollar is built on top of Curve Finance, Yearn Finance, right? And a whole lot of other dependencies which come in, right? So there is a degree of smart contract risk that comes through, but how there are ways to mitigate it and to ensure that that risk is not getting passed on to the users, or actually it has been reduced to a particular degree that the products are safe to use. There are vigilantes like, let's say, Chris, right, who's constantly questioning protocols with respect to their security practices, and I think he's just going to form a DAO now to keep watch if everything in DeFi is functioning as intended, or if things are sufficiently decentralized, right? So it's actually going to be a journey. The whole movement, you were right, started after the collapse in 2008, and then Bitcoin came out. The whole thesis being people should be in control who are using it, right, and not someone else. And that is why the whole ecosystem kind of rallied around it, Bitcoin and then Ethereum, and now we have so many currencies coming up, right? So the open nature and the open source bit, right, goes a long way. And actually being permissionless in nature, I think that is the core tenet why things will not be as bad as they were in the heydays of the 2008 crash. Yeah. I hope that answers. I covered a lot of ground. I'm not sure if it made a lot of sense, but please feel free to ask if you have any further doubts. And I've invited Amber. I think Amber, if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Sure. So I had just two questions. It's a great product, and I know it's an extremely new product in the market. I just wanted to get an idea about how many transactions are we processing on an average. If you could give me some idea about that. And second question I wanted to understand was, so how much capital is getting unlocked for a user minus the premium. Once he's paid the premium, how much capital is he actually unlocking? Could you give us an idea in terms of his percentage? So like, is he able to unlock 50% of the capital or greater than that, or whatever the percentage is? That would give us a rough idea about how we can actually use this product.
Yeah, sure, I'll take that. So, do you mean number of transaction in Opet's product, or like in something else, like Ethereum or Open or options?
Yeah, I meant it in Opet's product.
We don't have like a bunch of transactions right now. There are about 10 users who tried it with small amounts because this is still experimental, right? And there's no real utility of Opeth in its current form. We are just building out the lending platform, right? So there were some users who tried with small amounts, so not much. We are working on that. And to answer your second question is actually the fact that user gets to choose the strike price. So let's say the ETH is at $2,000, right? And user can also choose a put option that is at $1,500. They can also choose a put option that is at $1,900, provided that all of those are supported in Open, right? So if ETH is at $200, then the premium that they would pay for the 1900 strike price would be higher. But it boils down to a risk appetite. So if you want to pay a higher premium, you get $1,900 on your $2,000 ETH. Right? You can get that much. If you do not have that much of a risk appetite, or you don't want to pay that much, so let's say you spot a 2000% APY farm right now, like on stables, or paying like $100 for a 1900 strike price option makes sense for you. So you do that, you quickly farm with it, you make more than what you paid for the premium. That makes sense. So you're probably a degen. But let's say you're more comfortable with the 1600 strike price. So you pay a lesser premium, you get that, and then you use your capital however you want. So it's up to the user. Or they can also borrow up to $1,999, but the premium will be quite high. Yeah. So we let the user make that choice.
Got it. Thanks.
I think Wilfred here tried to raise his hand, but buddy, you actually have to press the mic icon on the bottom left, and then we'll make you a speaker.
Anyone else, right? If you guys have any questions, just feel free to raise your hand. I can't see any hands being raised at this moment.
No, actually,
But yeah, just to reiterate.
yeah, like you don't have
Yeah.
to raise your hands. So like, sorry about it, the confusion. Just press the mic icon on the bottom left.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Siddharth. Yeah, Siddharth, I think we can continue. Yeah, I think Siddharth probably dropped out. I think we have covered most of the ground that we wanted to cover today, and we have had some questions. So looking good. And thanks, Wade, for joining us. And watch out for the next two big updates from Opus, right? Which is the protected ETH, 31st of December protected ETH, and after that, it's going to be a lending pool of Rari Fuse pool. So watch out for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been super interesting and fun. Hope we could do more of these in the future. Looking forward to continuing to build out Opeth. And if anybody here has questions about options in general, feel free to hop into the open Discord. But super smart team at DeFi Dollar, and the team at Open couldn't be more excited to experiment with different products with them.
Wade, thank you guys. See you soon. Bye bye, Wade.
Take